I'd like to share an experience that I had, because my question is about the nature of reality. And I am very much aware, and I agree with you, that we should be very careful when approaching those things, because it can become nihilistic or
Yes.
cynical.
Yes.
And that's not where I live and not where I'm going or suggesting. But it does have terrific implications. Like we had recently in Brazil, maybe it was in the international press, like a terrible flood in the southern states of the country, something we never seen. And there's like cities and cities underwater. So there was, of course, a massive mobilization of civilians and, trying to help out the states that are suffering. And there I was doing my share, right? Helping how I can. And I would gather this bag of goods, of stuff that we could give away from home and did whatever. But I'm going to talk about this bag of goods particularly because I put this whole thing together at night, and the next morning I was going to deliver to the place where they were collecting this. And then I was talking to Greg in the morning, which we do a lot, and I was looking at this bag, right, with all this stuff inside of it to go to, I know where we're going to go, who's going to take it, and, to this particular shelter. But really, the reality I was enacting was, which is the only now, was putting the stuff in the bag, right? Well, my house wasn't being flooded. I didn't have to deal with the drama that our fellow countrymen were dealing with. My reality that moment was just doing that. And then once that bag was out of my view, where does it go? Where does it live, that reality? Because I started thinking about that, and Greg and I were got to this really fun exploration. But literally, time collapses completely in that. There's only that at that moment, only that. Like right now, there's only what I call a memory or a thought, which I think you are the person who I've heard that describes thought more magnificently. That is really that. It's so incredible. It's just a thought, a memory of something I did, or that I imagine I did. I don't even know if I did, because it's not here anymore. It's not a reality I'm enacting. So where does reality live?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to try an analogy on you. It's an analogy I used many, many years ago, and then I forgot about it, but it's just come back to me now. So imagine a book, a novel. It's got 300 pages, and the pages have got type writing all over it. So the pages are the medium on which the words are written. They represent space. And the lines of writing represent time. Now think of the knowledge. And this novel, it's a novel about a person's life that lasts 100 years. So over these 300 pages, someone's life, 100 years of life, are depicted. A person's biography, it's the biography of a 100-year-old person. And as you read the novel, you read it along the lines. You read it in time. You experience it in time. But now imagine the content of the novel if you were to remove the time and space in which it appeared. So you've got all the printed letters. You remove all the pages. You keep the letters. You remove all the pages. And then you remove all the lines. So all the print is condensed into a dot that is not extended in time or in space in the pages. So the entire content of the 100 years of life exist in a point that has no dimensions. It's only when that point is printed on the paper that it's expanded in time. Now, we can only access that life when we read the novel. That's the only way the novel, we can't experience the point and access its content. So consider now your own life, the content of your own life, the things that you have done, your memories, the things that seem to happen in the past. But take time away from your memories. Think of all the actions you've performed in your life and all the objects that exist in your life. Take the medium of time and space away from them, and they all condense into a dimensionless point. Where does that exist? It doesn't exist in time and space. But a human mind cannot know where that exists, because everything it knows is filtered through its own limitations. The human mind can only think of it existing in time or space. The human mind makes up time and space to accommodate our experience. It makes up the idea of time and then populates it with our memories and our hopes. It imagines space and then populates it with objects. So time and space are the fabric that we populate with events and objects. But take away the fabric of time and space. For once we've understood they're just constructions of the mind. What happens to all the contents? They condense into a point that has no dimensions. They're all stored there. They're all in that point. And that point has no dimensions. As soon as time and space begin, the point is expanded into time and space. As soon as thinking and perceiving begin, that point is expanded into time and space. And we talk about memories and the future and the past and sending objects to the south of Brazil and so on. But the whole story of being born and having numerous experiences and evolving and sending objects and all, this is just our mind's impoverished view of what is really taking place. What is really taking place is absolutely nothing like it appears to be. It's a vibration of consciousness. If we want to get closer, what's the closest a mind can get to what is really taking place? To what it is that appears to us, to our impoverished faculties as time and space and events and objects. If we want to, how could we ever with a human mind get beyond the human mind's limitations to know what is really there? What is it that is appearing to us? How could we approach that, given that all we have is thought and perception? I think it's music. Listen to a Beethoven symphony. That's as close as we can get. Because the artists, the great artists, are people whose minds are expanded, and therefore they are in touch with that dimension that is appearing to us as a mere physical world. Their minds have somehow gone beyond. And the role of the artist is to bring back that knowledge and represent it for humanity. But they have to represent it in humanity in the language that we understand. Well, what is the language we understand? Thinking, sights, sounds, tastes, textures, and smells. And that's why all the artist has are words, the writers and poets, sights, the painters, tastes, the chefs, sensations, the dancers, sounds, the musicians. That's why all these, an artist uses all these faculties to try to bring knowledge from behind the curtain of the sense. They try to bring back that knowledge and share it with us mortals who don't have those expanded capacities of knowledge.
But then, in terms of my actual experience, my actuality, that whole situation only exists as an idea? Because I wasn't,
Well, it's an idea and a perception.
yeah.
It's not just a thought, it's a perception as well. You're seeing physical objects and events. It's true that is a mental construction. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not. I think I'm not with you.
No. Yeah, it is this. But then, is there anything that is not a mental construction?
There is nothing that is not an activity of consciousness. So the universe is, all that's there is the activity of consciousness. When consciousness localizes itself as a finite mind, that's each of us, and then looks out at its own activity, it views it as the universe. So the universe is what the activity of consciousness looks like from the localized perspective of a finite mind. In other words, what we perceive as the universe is the conjunction, the interface between the infinite and the finite. Where the infinite and the finite meet, that's what we perceive as the universe. The infinite is the reality of the universe. The finite gives the universe its appearance. It's what William Wordsworth said so beautifully. We half create, half perceive the world. So we create the world in the sense that our perceiving faculties, seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling, project their characteristics onto reality and make reality appear in a way that is consistent with their own limitations. In that sense, we create the world. But we don't just create the world. The world is not just a figment of our individual minds. There is something which is real before it is, even when it's not being perceived. That there is a reality there. That reality is not the physical world that we perceive. That's what we create, its physical appearance. But there is something that is appearing to us. And we are perceiving that. Well, he didn't really mean perceive. He meant knowing it. We half create, half know reality. We are knowing that reality because that's all there is to know. All there is out there is the infinite consciousness. We are knowing that, but we are perceiving it in a way that is consistent with the limitations of our mind. So the universe, as it appears to us, it is the interface between reality and the finite mind, the infinite and the finite. So the universe is not just the creation of our finite minds. That would be solipsism. This is not solipsism. What I'm suggesting is not solipsism. It's the universe is real. It's not just an appearance of the finite mind. It has a reality. Its reality is infinite consciousness. But when that infinite consciousness is perceived by a finite mind, that reality, the activity of consciousness, appears to that finite mind as a physical universe. So the physical universe is a conjunction of the infinite and the finite. We half create it, half perceive it.
And then all what we call laws of physics and
They're
laws
of mind.
Laws of mind.
They're laws of mind, not laws of physics.
Right.
Yeah. There's no physical stuff for them to be laws of.
But there are patterns, apparent.
They're patterns of mind.
Yeah. All right.
And when, because to our minds, the activity of consciousness appears as physical objects, we then think that they are real physical objects, and we attribute the laws to those physical objects. The laws are not in the physical objects. They are patterns of the activity of consciousness. There's nothing to suggest that the activity of consciousness doesn't follow certain patterns. When those patterns are viewed by a finite mind, they appear as the laws of physics, and they're consistent and they're regular, because there may be regularities to the activities of consciousness.
I see. Okay.
So again, this is not in any way a denial of current scientific knowledge. It's an upgrading of scientific knowledge in a way that is consistent with the consciousness-only model.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense. Thank you.